What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q here from Retro Q Gaming, and we're going to talk about some future tech. Not very retro, or rather what would have been, could have been, should have been future tech. Because we are talking about some new, or potentially new, Nvidia cards being destroyed, dismantled, never created, and completely, well, it is 2020, so cancelled. Now, of course, you have to all remember this is all rumor and innuendo. In your endo? No, not in my endo. In your endo. Or rather, in Nvidia's endo in this case. Because we are talking about potential leaks of cancelled cards. Now, we all know that last month Nvidia announced their new and even subsequently quickly released their new RTX 3000 series, including the fantastic RTX 3080, the slightly disappointing RTX 3090, and in fact 1 week from today, at the end of October, we'll be launching the plebeian entry-level model of the RTX 3070. But you know what, Emma, I hope you get yours, you have your heart set on it, even if I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Now, real quickly, it is important to note that the regular RTX 3080 comes with 10 gigabytes of GDDR6X, which is fantastic, even if 10 gigs does seem a bit small. The bandwidth and bus of the GDDR6X makes up for all of that. And of course we have the RTX 3090, which has 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X, which is an absolute monster, at least in some ways. So if you're one of the 7 people lucky enough to get either of those cards, bully for you. I know I'm completely raging that I didn't jump on that opportunity to get the 3090 that I actually had. But hindsight is 2020, and so was the year. And just for the sake of it, we're also going to talk about what's coming next week with the RTX 3070, which ships with 8GB of regular GDDR6, not GDDR6X. So what's the point of all of this? Why are we listing off the specs or the memory allocation for the existing cards? Well, it turns out that Nvidia may have cancelled 2 upcoming models. Again, this is all rumors and speculation. But apparently, they're going to kill off what would have been the RTX 3080 Ti and the RTX 3070 Ti. Now, not much is known about these specific rumored cards, but there are 1 or 2 little bit of specs out there at the moment. And the big key thing to take away from the likes of the RTX, well, the potential RTX 3080 Ti would have been 20 gigabytes of GDDR6X. So yes, it was using the considerably higher speed of GDDR6X, and it was doubling the amount of VRAM on there, up from 10 to 20 gigabytes. So anyone who had any concerns about the actual amount of video RAM on there was completely fine if they were to pick up a rumored 3080 Ti, because 20 gigabytes is monster. And the same also applied to the 3070, or what would have been the 3070 Ti. As we all know, the regular 3070 uses 8 gigabytes of GDDR6, and the 3070 Ti would have used 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. So it would have been double the amount of video RAM. The same type of video RAM, but on both cards it would have been double. And it makes you wonder what the reasoning and possibility is behind all of this. Well, apparently Nvidia have been having big issues when it comes to stock, supply, creation, and even down to, depending on who you listen to, actual yield for their chips. In fact, even before the 3000 series launched, Nvidia had already said that there was going to be supply issues at least until early next year. And they even doubled up a little bit extra on the 3070 production just to try get as many out there as possible for launch day. But that's only the current theory going around for the moment. Of course, there's no solid concrete evidence about it just yet. For all we know, it could come true, they could have different variants, or it could be something different completely. But you have to look at it as a comparison from the opposite camp as well. Because just a few days from now, AMD are having their new GPU event, where they will be showcasing off all their new RDNA 2 Navi-based GPUs for desktops. So far we haven't properly seen anything from RDNA 2 short of the upcoming lackluster consoles, which are typically cut down, modified versions of some of the available models. And we've had a very, very, very brief teaser glimpse at the Big Navi, which is probably something like a 6900 XT. Or maybe they'll give it a big fancy name like a Radeon 8. But it makes you wonder what AMD can actually offer, because let's face it, the 3080 is a fantastic card. The 3090, while the performance doesn't mirror the price and the supposed hardware and specs, it is still technically the best GPU, the best consumer level GPU you can get, even if it is far overpriced for what you're getting. But with the 3070 coming out in a week from now, and early leaks and benchmarks put it at pretty much what a 2080 Ti is, plus or minus about a couple of percent, for a fraction of the price, that's a big deal. So AMD are going to have to pull something special out in order for their cards to make any sense. Because typically, you're looking for AMD stuff, it's not usually as good. The price and the performance usually put them in a pretty awkward position, and frankly, it's not even worth bothering with. You're also giving up many of the Nvidia specific features, and of course, AMD's driver support has been legendary for how bad it is. But that's it for the moment. For all we know, we may never ever hear about any of these potentially cancelled cards. The RTX 3080 Ti 20GB or the RTX 3070 16GB. That would be 3070 Ti 16GB. So if they were even planned, who knows if they'll be cancelled or they'll be just said nothing at all. Now, back to hitting F5 to get either a 3080 or a 3090.